My name is Janet Rubio, and I am 38 years old. I still remember the exact sound the front door made that Wednesday evening. The soft, metallic click, the quiet sigh of hinges, the kind of sound you never notice until your entire life is about to split in half. I stepped inside, dropped my keys, and before I could even kick off my heels, I saw him. Travis Miller, my boyfriend for 10 years, my partner, my almost husband, the man I once trusted more than anyone. He was sitting at this kitchen table with his hands folded neatly on top, as if rehearsing for a conversation he didn't want to have. His eyes tracked me slowly, deliberately. Then he said it. "Janet, we need to talk." The words slid across the room like a knife. I froze. No one begins a good conversation that way. I knew that tone. I'd heard it in stories from friends, whispered confessions, online threads where women learned their relationships were crumbling. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepares you for when the person you love uses that line on you. I forced a smile. "What's going on?" He took a breath, a long, heavy, rehearsed breath. And for a moment, I saw something flicker across his face. Excitement? Nervousness? Guilt? I couldn't tell. "Before I say anything," he began, "I want you to know that I love you. I really do. You mean the world to me, and I don't ever want to destroy what we have." My stomach dropped. People only preface terrible things with "I love you." "Travis," my voice cracked. "Just say it." He didn't hesitate. "I've decided I want to have a lover." For a full second, my brain didn't comprehend the sentence. It was like hearing words in the wrong language. Then the meaning hit me, cold and sharp. Lover?" I repeated. He nodded, almost relieved that it was out. "It would just be occasional. Nothing emotional. I'd be upfront with you about everything. And I promise, it wouldn't change how I feel about you." I stared at him, stunned, silent. A decade, 10 years of building a life together, and this man genuinely believed he could toss in another woman like an optional side dish. "Let me get this straight," I said slowly, my heartbeat hammering in my ears. "You love me. You don't want to ruin our relationship, but you want to sleep with someone else." "That's putting it bluntly," he murmured. "Bluntly?" I snapped. "Is there a gentle way to describe this?" He rubbed the back of his neck. "I've met someone I'm curious about. I feel like I need this. And if you love me as intensely as you say you do, you'll let me explore it." The audacity felt unreal. I let out a hollow laugh. "So who is she?" He hesitated too long. "Just someone." I stepped closer. "Someone from work?" His jaw twitched. "Someone from work. A woman. A real person. Not hypothetical, not theoretical. And not me." My voice dropped. "Have you already made plans with her?" He inhaled again. That same rehearsed breath. "We were thinking of going away next weekend. Just to talk. To see how things feel." "To talk, right." I stared at him, my eyes burning. "So you're telling me you expect me to sit at home while you take your little side project on a romantic weekend getaway?" He blinked. "I didn't think you'd react like this." "Of course not," I sneered. "You thought I'd clap, and thank you for your honesty." He shook his head, genuinely confused. "I thought you would love me enough to support something that means this much to me." Something inside me snapped quietly, like a small, delicate string breaking after years of tension no one noticed. "Let me ask you something, Travis." I crossed my arms, my voice steady and cold. "How would you react if I told you I wanted a lover? A man? Someone else in my bed?" He stiffened, his eyes flickered, his jaw clenched. But he lied. I think I'd be okay with it," he said. "You're full of shit," I whispered. His nostrils flared. "I didn't expect you to get angry." "Angry?" I laughed bitterly. "You tell me you want to go sleep with another woman and you're surprised I'm not throwing you a party?" He sighed. "Maybe I didn't think everything through." "Maybe?" I took a step back, breathing hard. "If I say no to this," I asked, "are you going to do it anyway?" Travis looked at the table. "I don't know." Those 3 words cut deeper than anything else. I didn't scream, I didn't throw things, I didn't beg. I simply turned around, walked to the bedroom, and began moving my things into the guest room. He hovered in the doorway. "What are you doing?" "I don't want to sleep next to someone who's thinking about another woman," I said. "You made your choice the moment you asked for this." I shut the door in his face. That night, I lay awake on the guest bed, staring at the ceiling in the dark, feeling the weight of 10 years crush my chest. But beneath the pain, something else flickered, something sharp, cold, and clear. A plan. A truth. If Travis went through with this, we were finished. I got up at dawn. By noon, I had already bought 3 voice-activated recorders. By 2 p.m., I had placed one near the phone, one in our bedroom, and one in his car. By 3 p.m., I had accessed our cell phone provider's portal. By 4 p.m., I discovered he had opened a secret email account, and I cracked it easily. What I found inside made my blood run hot. Emails, flirty, secretive, excited, between Travis and Jenna Rowe, a blonde coworker he once dated casually years ago. The ex-girlfriend he had told me was barely a friend. The woman he was planning that weekend trip with. I sat very still, staring at the screen. 10 years. 10 years I gave him. My loyalty, my devotion. And he threw it all away for her. In that moment, the heartbreak cooled and hardened into resolve. If Travis wanted to play dirty, he had no idea who he was dealing with. I didn't sleep that night, not even for a moment. While Travis snored in our bedroom, the same man who claimed he didn't want anything to ruin us, I sat in the dim glow of my laptop in the guest room, scrolling through email after email between him and Jenna Rowe. Their messages were disgusting in how ordinary they were. Not poetic, not passionate, just casual. Like they'd been warming up to this for weeks, maybe months. One of her emails said, "Friday at 1, we can get there by 3, check in, and unwind." Unwind. That's what they called it. A decade of my devotion reduced to a weekend of unwinding. Around sunrise, a strange calm settled inside me. Heavy but steady, like cold steel. I wasn't going to beg him. I wasn't going to scream or collapse or cling to false hope. If Travis wanted to lie, then he would be exposed with the truth. And I would be the one to expose him. Thursday, the setup begins. At 7 a.m., I left the house before he woke up. I called work, told them I needed a couple days for urgent personal reasons, and then drove straight to the hardware store. 3 more hours later, a phone tape recorder installed on our landline, voice recorders placed more strategically. The secret email set to forward all incoming messages to me. 2 GPS trackers purchased. By noon, I was sitting in my car outside Travis's office building, watching employees come and go while I waited for Jenna's sedan, the woman who suddenly had my life in her hands. When I finally saw her, tall, wavy blonde hair, immaculate navy pencil dress, I understood immediately why he'd been drawn to her. She looked like a woman who never questioned her worth. That was ironic, because she was sleeping with someone else's partner. I didn't approach her, not yet. Instead, at 1:12 p.m., I opened Travis's car door with my spare key and quickly slipped a GPS tracker into the seam of his driver's seat. The other one went into his wallet later that night when he was in the shower. Quick, clean, undetectable. Friday morning, his last chance. When Travis came downstairs, I was calmly sipping coffee at the kitchen table, the same spot where he'd destroyed our relationship just 2 days earlier. He paused, like the sight of me unsettled him. "Janet, can we talk?" "We can," I said, "but nothing you say will change what you've already made clear." He sat across from me. "Did you think about what I said?" he asked. I stared at him for a long moment, letting silence do the work. Then, yes, and I still can't accept it. A muscle in his jaw twitched. "Well, I'm still going." There it was, the soft, precise sound of our 10-year bond snapping. I set my mug down. "So you're choosing her." He opened his mouth, to deny it maybe, but the truth was already in his eyes. I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I simply said, "Then this relationship is already over." He didn't even apologize, he just looked inconvenienced. That made it easier. The lawyer. By 10 a.m., I was sitting inside a polished office across from a divorce lawyer whose eyebrows nearly shot off his face when I showed him the printed emails. "Ms. Rubio," he said, flipping pages, "this is extremely strong evidence." "I'll have more by Monday," I replied. His brows lifted. "Oh, how much more?" "Enough to make the case bulletproof." His grin was equal parts impressed and horrified. "We'll file immediately. You have a solid claim for a fault-based divorce." "Good," I said. "He won't see it coming." Thursday afternoon, the hotel room. The drive to Kansas City felt surreal. 2 hours of thinking, planning, remembering every moment of the past decade, and wondering how many of those memories had been real. I checked into room 125, the room Travis and Jenna booked for Friday and Saturday. Just stepping inside made my skin crawl. I placed 2 tiny fiber optic cameras. 1, behind the headboard, perfect angle. 2, near the TV stand, wide view of the entire bed. I tested both on my laptop, crystal clear. I sat perfectly still for a minute to let the motion sensors deactivate, then moved to confirm they caught movement on cue. Everything worked flawlessly. I didn't rush, I didn't shake. I had become someone else, someone colder, calmer, more focused than I had ever known myself to be. Before leaving, I walked down the hall to check the signal strength from the room I would use during their stay. Perfect, like I said. He wouldn't see me coming. Thursday night, the final straw. When I got home, Travis was in the kitchen, clearly expecting a fight. Instead, I ignored him completely. He followed me to the guest room. "Janet, I'm trying to talk to you." "Save your voice for Jenna," I said softly. "You'll need it this weekend." His cheeks flushed. "I don't want things to be ugly between us." "Oh, sweetheart," I said with a sad smile. "Things stopped being beautiful the moment you asked for another woman." He reached out, maybe to touch my arm, but I stepped back. That tiny flinch was the moment something inside him finally broke too. He left the room without another word. Friday morning, the goodbye. He left for his weekend getaway at his usual time. I watched from the upstairs window as he loaded his duffel bag into his car. He didn't even look back toward the house. 10 years together, and not even a wave. As soon as he pulled away, I didn't cry. Instead, I grabbed the collected emails, our joint bank statements, the lockbox key, and the chargers for my hidden cameras, and I headed straight for my lawyer's office to sign everything needed. Accounts closed, credit cards canceled, half the savings secured, legal steps initiated. Travis thought the painful part of his betrayal was my heartbreak. He had no idea the worst pain was still ahead, for him. The sabotage he would never forget. By lunchtime, I returned home to finish one last detail. Travis had packed a separate bag, the one he believed held the sexy surprise he was bringing Jenna. While he was gone, I found Jenna's lingerie tucked neatly inside. I held it up between my fingers, stared at the delicate lace, and realized how absurd it all was. This was what he chose over me? With gloves on, I lifted the pepper spray bottle and lightly misted. The lace at the bra cups, the crotch of the panties. Just enough to burn like fire, not enough to injure. A symbolic message. You wanted heat? Here, burn for it. I put everything back exactly as I found it. By the end of the day, I was sitting alone in my car outside the Kansas City hotel, my laptop open on the passenger seat. The camera feeds loading in crystalline HD quality. Travis and Jenna were 2 hours away from checking in. I felt no guilt, no hesitation, only clarity. They wanted a weekend of paradise. I was going to turn it into a weekend they would never forget. By the time the clock struck noon on Friday, the air outside the hotel felt strangely still, like the world itself was holding its breath with me. I checked into room 129, the one close enough to pick up every camera signal from room 125, the room Travis and Jenna booked for their romantic getaway. My laptop hummed quietly on the desk, the screen split into 2 pristine live feeds, one of the bed, one of the entire room. I sat there in silence, listening to every tick of the wall clock. And then, at exactly 1:57 p.m., his car pulled into the parking lot. Travis was driving. Jenna sat in the passenger seat, smiling wide, hair blowing, as she laughed at something he said. My throat tightened. I had imagined this moment for days, but nothing prepared me for the real thing. Seeing the man I'd loved for 10 years walk into a hotel with someone else, looking lighter, happier, freer than he had with me in months. It hurt. Oh God, it hurt. But underneath the pain was something sharper, stronger. Resolve. I watched them through the peephole as they approached their room down the hall. He held her waist, guiding her like she belonged there. Then they entered room 125. 5 seconds later, my cameras picked it up. The first betrayal caught on camera. "Wow, this is nice," Jenna's voice sang through the laptop speakers. I stared at the screen as she slipped her arms around Travis's neck and kissed him. Deep, slow, intimate. The way he used to kiss me. He laughed into her mouth, hands roaming her hips, and said, "I've wanted this for so long." My stomach twisted. He lifted her onto the bed, and she pulled him down with her, whispering something I couldn't hear. Something soft, something forbidden. Watching it was like swallowing poison. I had expected anger, I had expected rage, but instead I felt numb, like all the hurt had drained out of me, leaving only hollow space where love used to be. I didn't cry, didn't scream. I simply clicked the record button. The first sabotage. Flowers. After roughly 10 minutes, because apparently Travis still had the stamina of a teenager, they lay tangled under the sheets, laughing. That was my cue. I picked up my phone and called the florist downstairs. "Hi, this is for a scheduled bouquet delivery to room 125. Just let them know it's for Jenna Rowe, from an admirer." At 3:14 p.m., a knock echoed through the speakers. "Flowers?" Jenna blinked. Travis stiffened. "I didn't send anything." She opened the card and her face drained. "To my beautiful Jenna, thinking of you." Her voice cracked. "Oh God, Mark," her husband. Travis sat up. "Your husband? Why is he sending flowers?" I don't know, she snapped, suddenly frantic. Did he find out? I placed a hand over my mouth to keep from laughing out loud. That was sabotage number 1. The second sabotage, pizza. By late afternoon, they'd showered, cuddled, and, unfortunately for my eyes, gone for round 2. This time, after only 3 minutes of mediocre effort from Travis, I called the front desk. Hi, can you send a large pepperoni pizza to room 125? Paid in advance. At 5:09 p.m., they were tangled together again when, knock knock. Room service. Oh my God, what now? Jenna hissed. Travis opened the door, confused. I didn't order this. Sir, you paid over the phone. Travis turned bright red. Jenna crossed her arms, glaring. You got hungry in the middle of... I didn't order anything. I covered my mouth with both hands, shaking with silent laughter. Sabotage 2 complete. Watching Travis fall apart. They eventually ate the pizza, awkwardly, sitting far apart on the bed. Travis kept checking his phone. Jenna's face looked tight, anxious. Then she said the line I'll never forget. What if she knows? Travis froze. Janet? No, she's clueless. She wouldn't... I zoomed in on the camera feed to get a clean shot of his face as he lied through his teeth. He thought I was clueless. He had no idea I was in the next room. The third sabotage, her favorite sandwich. When they finally worked up the nerve to be intimate again, I placed the next order. A turkey avocado sandwich. Jenna's favorite. Travis hated it, but I knew she loved it. 5 minutes into their tangled attempt at romance. Knock knock. Another delivery? Jenna groaned. Are you serious? I did not order anything. When she opened the bag and saw the sandwich, her face went white. He knows, she whispered. Mark knows. He ordered my favorite. He does not know, Travis said, voice cracking. Jenna sat at the edge of the bed, shaking. What if Janet knows? What if she's... She has no idea, he shouted. Oh, Travis, if only you knew. The lingerie incident. Later that night, after 2 failed attempts at passion, Jenna pulled out the lingerie Travis told her to bring. The lace pieces I had secretly sprayed earlier. She smiled shyly, slipping into them. Travis's eyes lit up. Well, damn, he breathed. But 30 seconds later... Ah! Oh my God, Travis, burning! It's burning! She ripped the bra off so violently the strap snapped. Travis panicked. What's happening? Are you allergic to something? Jenna jumped into the shower, screaming about fire in places no woman should ever feel it. Meanwhile, I calmly took another sip of my iced coffee and saved the video clip. Sabotage number 4. Flawless. Sunday morning. The final blow. By Sunday morning, they were miserable. Jenna was swollen and irritated. Travis was frustrated and paranoid. Their romance weekend looked like a disaster movie. They barely spoke during checkout. When they left for the drive home, I packed up my laptop, secured all footage, and walked down the hallway with the slow satisfaction of someone who had seen the truth with her own eyes. I wasn't just heartbroken anymore. I was done. When Travis returned home that afternoon and walked through the front door, he hesitated, waiting for a reaction. I didn't even look at him. He wasn't worth the energy, because part 3 wasn't the end. Part 3 was just the evidence. The real ending, the real reckoning, was still ahead. By the time Travis's car rolled into the driveway on Sunday afternoon, I was sitting on the living room couch, legs crossed, laptop closed, TV on low volume. Not waiting, not anxious, not heartbroken. Just done. The front door opened with a slow creak, and he stepped inside like an ashamed child sneaking in after curfew. He paused when he saw me, upright, calm, completely unreadable. I'm home, he said quietly. I didn't look away from the TV. I can see that. He hovered there, eyes flicking from me to the stairs, like he expected me to scream or cry or fall apart. But the silence was louder than any outburst. Can we talk? He asked timidly. I muted the TV. About what? Your weekend? Your lover? Your lies? Your performance? He swallowed hard. Janet, don't, please. I finally turned to look at him, really look at him. And for the first time, I didn't see the man I loved. I saw a stranger wearing Travis's face. Sit, I said. He sat, his hands clenched together. His knee bounced. He couldn't meet my eyes. Good. He didn't deserve to. The served papers. Before we start, I said evenly, check the mail. His brow creased, confused. What? Why? Just do it. He stood, walked to the mailbox, and came back inside, holding 2 thick envelopes. His face went pale. He tore open the first one. Divorce petition. Filed Friday. Fault-based. Irrefutable. He shook as he picked up the second envelope. A lawsuit. Filed against him for alienation of affection by Mark Rowe, Jenna's husband. Travis's lips parted. What is this? Consequences, I said. You actually, he stuttered, voice breaking. You filed for divorce? Yes. And he's suing me. How? I sent him everything. He dropped the envelope like it burned him. Everything? What do you mean everything? I leaned back, crossed my legs, and said calmly, emails, texts, phone logs, location pings, and high-definition video recordings of the entire weekend. His eyes shot up, horrified. The video? Oh, yes. He froze. You filmed us? I did. Janet, that's perfectly legal, I interrupted. In a room I booked, using devices I installed, in a space I paid for. You should have read the fine print. He looked sick. Then he whispered, oh my God. The breakdown. He dropped to his knees in front of me. Literally. I didn't expect that. Janet, please don't do this. I made a mistake. I messed up. I wasn't thinking. I love you. Do you? I asked. Because you didn't seem to love me when you took Jenna to a hotel room and, well, underperformed from what I could see. His face flushed crimson. Please stop, he begged. Why? You didn't stop when I asked you not to destroy our relationship. You didn't stop when I told you I couldn't accept your proposal. You didn't stop when you planned a weekend getaway with another woman. I know, he whispered. I'm sorry. You're sorry because you got caught. He didn't deny it. Janet, he said softly, I swear it's over. I regret everything. I never should have... No, I said firmly. You don't get to regret it now. You made your choice. He looked up at me with tears forming. I'll do anything. I'll fix this. I'll go to counseling. I'll cut off Jenna. Too late. He crumbled. The man who once acted self-assured, smug, even arrogant, was now a shaking shell of himself, putting his things outside. I stood up. Travis, you need to pack your clothes. What? Now? Yes, now. He opened his mouth to argue, but one look at my face shut him down. The same face he once claimed was too gentle to hurt him. He was wrong. I walked to our bedroom, grabbed a pile of trash bags, and tossed them into the hallway. For your things. He stared at them, helpless. Janet, don't do this. Upstairs, pack. He went. I followed him halfway up the stairs, then turned back and opened the front door to get fresh air. A few neighbors walked by. I didn't care. By the time Travis came back down, bags stuffed with clothing, his face blotchy from crying, I had placed 2 more bags on the front lawn, already filled while he wasn't looking. He stepped outside and froze. My things? You put my things on the yard? Yes, I said. You don't live here anymore. But where do I go? Not my problem. He wiped his face. Janet, please. No, I said. Save your begging for Jenna and your lawyer. That one hit him like a slap. One last conversation. Just as he picked up the last bag, he turned to me with desperation in his eyes. Did you ever love me? Yes, I said honestly. More than you deserved. He flinched. Is there any chance? Any chance at all that you'll forgive me? I took a long breath. Forgiveness? I tilted my head. Maybe someday, for my own peace. His eyes flickered with hope. But getting back together, my expression hardened. No, never. His mouth opened slightly, like he had one last plea, but it died in his throat. He knew. He finally understood. I took a step closer, looked him dead in the eye, and said, You didn't lose me because of Jenna. You lost me because you thought I'd survive anything except myself. He blinked, tears spilling. I'm sorry, he whispered. I know, I said softly, but sorry isn't enough. And with that, I closed the door on a decade. The unexpected twist. That evening, my phone buzzed with a new message. From Mark Rowe, Jenna's husband. It said, Thank you for telling me the truth. If you ever need help with anything, even just someone to talk to, I'm here. I stared at the message, a strange mix of sadness and relief filling my chest. Not flirtation, not romance, just understanding. A reminder that not every man destroys the person who loves him. And maybe someday I'd learn to trust again. But for that moment, sitting alone in my quiet